Welcome to Heard It on the X, the East Coast's premier music talk show. Brought to you by Rich's Music Exchange in Hamburg, New York, and online at richesmusicexchange.com. Sponsored by music industry leaders Regal Tip, Ernie Ball, Ampeg, and Mackie. And now your hosts, Rich Rogan-Moser and co-host The Doctor.
Hi folks, welcome down to Heard It on the X, the East Coast premier music talk show. My name is Rich Rogan-Moser. Brought that in for my father because you're used to us hearing some kind of crazy music, some kind of wacky stuff going on. Decided to bring that one in. My dad was a huge country fan, and I want to wish Happy Father's Day to my father, Donald Rogan-Moser, who subjected me to that stuff. It was a form of torture, I believe. Hold on one second, folks. Does that sound better now, boys?
That sounds a lot better.
Yes.
It doesn't sound like we're in a wind tunnel.
It doesn't sound like we're in a wind tunnel. I have no idea what actually happened to our board. I think we've spilled something again in there, which is something that we've done on a regular basis. A lot of bourbon in this board. Once again, folks, welcome down. Heard It on the X, the East Coast premier music talk show.
It feels like forever since we've been here.
It does feel like forever. It's been forever since we've been around.
Well, especially me.
I do want to wish Happy Father's Day. Today, I was out at my father's house. Going back to this Wildwood Flower song. When I was younger, I was a musician, I was a drummer. We have the first family of drumming that's going to be joining us in just a little while.
Yeah, we've nicknamed them. We'll get to that later.
Right. But I was a drummer, used to have rehearsals at my house. Every single guitar player that came over, my father, Donald, would ask the guitar player, which is nerve-wracking enough that someone's father's talking to you because the kid was probably drunk. Who knows what was going on, really. He would ask them all, do they know how to play Wildwood Flower? Which, I mean, we were kids, we were raised on Judas Priest and Iron Maiden, and we were Black Sabbath. We had no idea what. I was his son. I didn't know what Wildwood Flower was. One day, I had a kid come over, because when you're a kid and you're in bands, 14, 15, it's a different group of kids every day is your band.
Yeah.
And he asked the kid whose father was in a country band, and the kid started playing it, and that kid became my guitar player because my dad couldn't hassle him anymore.
He wouldn't let anyone else over to play guitar.
Yeah, he was the only real guitar player in my dad's eyes because he could play Wildwood Flower. I was at my father's house today, and you're going to appreciate this. I took my boys, I love my boys so much, and they're just wonderful men. They've turned out to be wonderful men, but I call them the Brothers of Mass Destruction. And we were at my dad's place. My mom and dad still live out in Evans, in a very picturesque, very rural place, a lot of trees. My brother was there, and my brother decided he wanted to take down this one tree. So the Brothers of Mass Destruction are there, taking down a tree.
Did Nicholas just tackle it?
It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Actually, we have video of it. It might go up on YouTube because it was just one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I just sat there eating pizza, watching my boys.
Speaking of the Brothers of Mass Destruction, how did little Richie do getting back into the States?
He must have swam because he got back. Yeah,
without no form of identification.
My son Richard crossed the border without an enhanced license. He just had the application for it, but he's a fast talker.
Yeah,
he gets it from the old man, I guess.
I guess he does.
And he was able to get back across somehow, and he brought gifts, which is really cool.
Oh, how sweet of him!
And I was really proud of it. I'm really proud of them that they went out and did that at my and really it was one of the most enjoyable days of my life just watching them because they're just two funny fellas.
Yeah.
They can actually break the ground. They can break anything.
They've broken a lot of things. They've broken windows. They've broken my car. Literally broken pieces of my car off.
I own the Music Exchange, and one day my son Nick was walking behind the counter, and he stepped on the vent where you get air conditioning and heat through your floor, and broke that somehow. I have no idea how he did. He broke my floor. Actually broke my floor. I want to wish Happy Father's Day to Bob and to Cheesy, who's listening to the show right now, and I want to thank him for everything he always does. And happy Father's Day to all of them. Happy Father's Day to your dad.
Yeah, happy Father's Day to my. I didn't know how many more you had to go. Happy day.
I'm done.
Happy Father's Day to my father and all the fathers out there.
You know what I wish for Father's Day right now, next year?
Beer.
An air conditioner for this
Margaritas.
studio right here. Beer would be good too, maybe a cooler over there. But
Just leave the cooler open and then it'll radiate some coolness.
going through this studio is torturous because you come in and it's so cool in the lobby.
The thermoregulation in this building is way off.
Yeah, and then you head this way. I mean, and we're glad to be here. It's not like the Evil Empire.
No.
We're glad we left the Evil Empire. But as you walk down the hallway, it's like Dante's Inferno. It just keeps getting hotter and hotter and hotter until you get into the studio.
It's like me reading 50 Shades of Grey. I just start breaking out in sweat, and I start fine, and then by the end of it, I'm just drenched in sweat.
This 50 Shades of Grey thing, I'm done with it. I mean, that's all I hear about anymore is 50 Shades of Grey.
That's all I think about.
Angelina Jolie's directing the movie.
I heard, you told me.
And Brad Pitt's going to star it.
The thing is, you say you're sick of it. Most of what I've heard about it is from you, my
Well, it's because I can't escape it. It's everywhere.
Kim
Marie read it. Kim Marie read the book.
I don't think I'd know about it if it wasn't
Kim
from you.
Marie read the book. You don't even care that Kim Marie read the book.
I don't want to know that Kim Marie read the book.
Okay, today's show, welcome down again, everybody. Today's show is, we've got the first family of drumming. We've got the Rocco family, and we have renamed them the Rockdashians because they're just the most beautiful family I've ever seen in my life. Ron's here with his two lovely children, both of them drummers, and we're gonna hear their story in just a little bit. And like I say, there should be a reality show. We should get Al Kroll to pitch this to Warner Brothers.
There you go.
Because
he's got the inside.
he's got the ins. He should pitch this. And they all play drums too. That'd be a great show.
I would love to watch that show.
Absolutely.
Ron just walking around yelling at the kids.
I'm not kidding.
He
around.
seems like the angry father. He seems like he would get real mad and stern.
Here's the thing. I'm glad I didn't bring my kids because my kids are hideously ugly. And your mom's gonna feel bad. You're sitting here.
Yeah,
I mean, she's playing her cards right here.
Yeah,
because you're no prize, son. I'm not kidding.
None of us are. Not everyone can hit the jackpot.
Yeah, I mean, this is Rockdashian family. So we're going to be joined by them in just a little bit, and we have Robert Craig joining us in the second hour. Robert Craig's playing at the Trelf
tomorrow,
and I'm actually going to go check him out. And it was really, really cool. It's going to be really cool to talk to him. And there's really a lot of cool stuff. The thing about Robert Craig that a lot of people don't know is you might know this.
He can walk the falls, right?
No, he can't. We're going to talk about that in a second too. The movie Animal House, Otis Day and the Night.
He's playing bass. Yeah, I didn't know that until you told me that.
Yeah, and he was also in Hail Hail Rock and Roll, which Hail Hail Rock and Roll is the movie that Keith Richards always worshipped Chuck Berry, and he was disappointed as a child, always seeing Chuck Berry. The way Chuck Berry did a gig, he would fly into town, and whoever the hot band in town was, they became the backing band. Usually the opening band was the backing band for Chuck Berry. He would come in himself, fly in himself, bring his guitar. He wanted to get paid in cash before he played, and after his performance, he was gone. He had a complete distrust of the business end of music, had a complete distrust of managers, of agents, of booking agents, of promoters, all of them. He just didn't trust any of them. So that's how he did things. Unfortunately, when you seen Chuck live, you never got continuity of a normal band.
Yeah.
So sometimes the bands would be stellar, and in Hail Hail Rock and Roll, Springsteen talks about when he came to Jersey, his band actually backed him up.
Yeah.
That's just the way it worked for him. I think the guys in Jay Gals backed him up in Boston at one time. Keith wanted to put a real band behind him. And if you've ever seen this documentary, it's a great documentary. Chuck Berry is probably the biggest a-hole that you could ever run into in this documentary. He lets Keith rehearse this giant band, and I mean, this band it's got Bill Wyman in it. It's got Steve Jordan on drums. It's got it's everybody. Clapton's in it. Everybody's in this. It's a giant band. I mean, Will Lee I think is in it too. Right at showtime, he changes the keys of all the songs. Like literally, right at showtime, right on stage. And Keith's yelling at him, no, because we've got they had horns arranged and everything else.
Yeah.
So it's a really good documentary to check out. You brought up Nik Wallenda. Thank God Nik Wallenda made the walk across the falls, and now Niagara Falls is famous.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
No. What place?
Niagara Falls. It's this big body of water. A lot of people don't know about it. It's one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, but a lot of people forget about that.
Let me write that down. Two G's in Niagara?
Nope, B1.
Okay.
1G. Yeah, it's just amazing to me that the hype that this whole thing got. So I started doing some, and actually, to tell you the truth, I'm a little offended by it, and I'll admit it, because how are the politicians that have destroyed that city for the last 50 years allowed to stay in office? Because, I know that the Northeast and the Rust Belt and all this nonsense has been on the decline for the last 50 years or so, but you would figure that being next to one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, you'd have a leg up on something. Where you've seen
your meal ticket there.
Niagara Falls looks like Baghdad. I mean, they should string up those politicians.
And we're not just talking about the people that go there. We're talking about the.
You could film a war movie there. You really could. You could just film the buildings.
You really could.
You could fire a cannon down Main Street, not hit anybody at past 6 o'clock. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
It's just deplorable. It's a deplorable city. So Nick Walenda's going to walk across it and make Niagara Falls famous again. The funny thing is I did a bunch of research on.
That's what you do. You research.
I research everything. Yeah, I do. I'm a research junkie. I'm a pretty boring guy. Do you know how many in 1859? There was a fellow between 1859 and 1896. There were as many as 10 different people who made that walk on a wire, and there was one guy, the Great Blondin, from France. He went across 22 times. I mean, and he did some pretty amazing things. And granted, his wire was strung a little bit farther down the Niagara River than Walenda's, only because he couldn't get agreements from people who owned the property at the time. So he had to do it where he could get agreements.
Yeah.
But one time he walked across with his manager on his back. One time he walked across with a wheelbarrow, and in the wheelbarrow was a coal stove where he stopped in the center and cooked an omelet and then continued across.
Wait, he was French. Wouldn't it be a crepe?
No, it was an omelet. I believe it was. It could have been a crepe. I don't know. I really wasn't there. One time he stopped in the middle, lowered down a rope,
go to the bathroom,
and got a bottle from the Maid of the Mist that was down there, and then drank a bottle on top of the wire. I mean, laid down on the wire, did some pretty amazing things. Blindfolded.
Really?
Blindfolded.
This Nick
Someone on his back.
Walenda's a hack.
Someone on his back.
Yeah. That alone is just...
From 1859 to 1896.
I can't walk 10 feet on solid ground with someone on my
back. No, I know. 1859 to 1896.
I have very weak knees. Sorry.
10 different people did it. 10 different people did it. So it's
Did they have harnesses too?
These guys did not have harnesses.
See?
No.
Man up, bro.
Yeah, I don't think he wanted a harness though. What do you think about the walk? We watched it. We were at a gig.
Yeah, no one was watching us.
That's aggravating being a musician too in town. We're going to talk to Ronnie about this too. I despise hockey season. I really do. Because if the Sabres are doing anything, there's no point in playing a gig at all. I mean, even if the Sabres, and let's face facts, Buffalo is not the bastion of championship teams. So we all know the outcome of what's going to happen. And then hockey season is like 4,312 games anyways, right?
Yeah.
So the closer you get to the playoffs, there's one spot left, they're fighting for one spot, there's just no point in playing a game. Because you got to start after the hockey game, whatever. With this Walenda walk...
We were in the middle of playing Honky Tonk Women.
Yeah, you were playing with us.
Yeah, and everyone just...
Everyone had their back to us and they're watching the TV, and I actually, at one point, started playing wrong chords just for fun.
Yeah, you started soloing.
The whole band started doing it.
Yeah.
Just because nobody cared. Absolutely nobody cared. So
not a soul.
Thanks a lot for wrecking my gig, Nick. Walenda. How do you feel about this walk?
Whatever, it's cool. I don't think he's walking on water. I don't think whatever. He's going to do the Grand Canyon next.
Oh, that's good because no one's ever heard of that either.
No,
he's going
to make that famous.
Yeah.
He's a swell guy.
The thing about they got a lot of free pub out of it. They really did.
Yeah.
National publicity, actually international publicity. But will the city run with it? And
no.
Who's going to go stay in that slum ghetto Niagara Falls, anyways?
There's a really nice Econo Lodge right up there.
And they've got a casino. I think now the casino might be holding up money because I think the money from the casino goes to the state and then is doled out to the cities. But the state has stepped on Native Americans' toes, and the Native Americans are holding back casino payments, I believe, which they have every right to. But I just can't believe that city. I mean, and fixing it doesn't seem like it would be that hard. It really doesn't. Even John that owns Rapids Theater, he's tried multiple times to purchase buildings on that block.
Yeah.
They're bought by speculators. They buy them at tax auctions for $1,500, and then they want $500,000 for them. Why doesn't the city send in building inspectors and tell these guys, look, if you own this property, fix it? that might force them to want to get rid of it if they don't want to fix it, but they don't want to do any of that stuff. That's why I'm going to be running for mayor of Niagara Falls soon.
I'll vote.
That's actually a big lie. I just lied to you. I'm going to be mayor of Key West, though.
You will, very soon.
What are you doing over there? You're not
I'm
paying
drawing
attention
a
to
house.
anything.
I'm
I'm
drawing
actually
a house.
staring right at you. and
I'm
you're
drawing
doing
a
nothing.
house.
Do you realize you're on the radio right now?
I do.
We got stuff to do.
I was drawing. I'm sorry.
We're going to take a commercial break.
I was imagining the house that Nick Wallenda grew up in, and so I drew it. It's a very simple house because he came from simple upbringing.
Here's the funny thing about
His
Joshua.
mom made his shoes.
One, he's on the radio. Two, your beautiful family. He could be looking at your daughter. He's not. He's drawing cartoon
I'm
pictures.
looking at your son, sorry.
He's not. He's not doing anything. This is what Joshua does.
I drew crepes too.
Excellent. All right, we're going to take a small commercial break. Come back on the other side with the first family of drumming. Stick around, folks.